I love to finish and start every year here in Brazil because I spend most of my time in places like Dubai, London, New York, where it's very work focused, very fast paced, and I don't really get a chance to enjoy my life, to be honest. It's always very what's next, what we're doing, what's being planned.
O amor da gente é dente com dente, é rosa e preto, março, fevereiro, quero o ano inteiro, o nosso dueto.
You know, Brazil has always grounded me because I have to face the reality of who I actually am to the world because I can't wear expensive watches or rely on someone knowing my brand. And there's like a disillusionment about status and money because everybody here is on the same level and the real value is your personality, your energy, and who you actually are. So whenever I come, I have to strip away all of the external validation and identity I built up over the years and quickly see what's left. And it's just the most honest mirror I look into, and it's a great way to keep my feet on the ground despite having a brand that's growing in the public eye. And it all just reminds me to never change who I am despite any brand success or even however big this channel becomes one day.
O do amarelo do sol que dá lugar à luz do luar. Posso respirar, sinto cada olhar, cada movimento. Se entrelaça, se entrelaça, se entrelaça, se entrelaça na dança.
For someone who spends most of the year in places like London, Dubai, New York, I appreciate reminding myself of what life is really about because those cities are lit, don't get me wrong, but they also have this way of warping your perspective where you start measuring everything, comparing everything, and that has its value, but it's also like a never-ending cycle. And it's so easy for me to get completely consumed in what's next and just live in the future all the time. But here I spend quality time with my family and work takes a step back for once. Because of also the time difference, my last meetings online are like 1 p.m. so I can enjoy the day and be present. I'm at the beach with my family for hours and my mum gets to be with her brothers and sisters, watching them joke around like they're kids again, and those moments are just so priceless to me.
Que isto é bossa nova, que isto é muito natural.
And despite everybody having so little, everybody's so happy and genuinely loves their lives, which makes me think maybe the answer isn't always more.
Todos também têm coração. Fotografei você na minha Rolleiflex.
My life feels so online all the time, but Rio life is like the opposite because everything happens outside on the beach, in the streets, and people aren't just doom scrolling all day. And the social currency here isn't how many followers you have, it's whether you're good company, whether you can make people laugh and be a vibe. It's one of the few cities in the world that hasn't been compromised by hustle culture, social media. Work isn't anybody's identity here, it's just what they do to live. And their actual identity is their family, their friends, their neighborhood, their culture. And Cariocas understand what real living actually is. And I always feel most present whenever I'm in the city. And ironically, I get the best ideas whenever I'm chilling at the beach on Ipanema rather than at home on my desk. There's a fire phrase here called Essência de Cria, which means the essence of somebody raised in Rio or a favela. And it's something you feel everywhere. It's like a raw authenticity. Everybody here expresses themselves through art and style. You see it in the wavy haircuts, which I wish I could pull off, and the dances people have for funky music. And there's no judgment at all for being too loud or vibrant. It's low-key the opposite. If you're too quiet or reserved, people think you're a gringo and not from here. It's just genuinely the way of life in Rio. You see this essence in how Brazilians play football too, where it's all about skill, flair, having fun, and the famous phrase jogo bonito, which means the beautiful game. And bro, I watch kids playing football in the favela here on a mud pitch with a half-deflated football, and they're doing rainbow flicks and shit. It's wild, but it's just a playbook out here, and it's what you learn when you're a kid. And you compare that to Europe, where football's become a science. It's like so defensive, and Brazil never lost that spirit, which is maybe why they've won more World Cups than anybody else.
Davi Dog Dog é cachorro duas vezes.
DJ Andra Beat, né?
Não me iludo no te amo, pego firme essa maldita, salseirando pela rua, bagunçando as avenidas, joga a tag lá em cima, ela ama adrenalina, guarda minha 9mm na sua bolsa bonita, que é sensação de poder, piranha do lazer, quer ir pro HD, 30 mil na TT, festa do BGG, bala doce ND, curtinha que é prazer.
Rio has the craziest landscape I've ever seen for a city, because it's like a city inside of a jungle with the best views anywhere you go. And trust me, I've been to loads of beautiful places in the world, but Rio is different. You got the beaches, ocean, mountains, lakes, and then the Christ the Redeemer, which is watching over everything. And I think it's why Rio has some of the most creative people in the world. It's impossible for me not to be inspired being in this environment. And whenever I leave, I go with 10 times more ideas than I came with. And like I said, Cariocas have never compromised their values for money, because family and living comes first. And there's this deep patriotism too. Like, Brazilians genuinely love their country. They wear the flag with pride. They celebrate the culture unapologetically. I always love to end and start every year here, because this is the only time of the year that I genuinely have peace, which means I can properly zoom out and think about things, understand them, and get real clear on who I need to become in the new year. Across the years, I've figured out that my best thoughts come in silence, and often when I'm alone. And it's low-key something I need to make more time for outside of Brazil. But I promise this trip isn't purely strategic. Like, my family live here, and it's so important I spend quality time with them, and my mum gets to enjoy super precious moments with her brothers and sisters. And when I'm watching her with her siblings, seeing her relax in a way she never does in London, is so priceless. And even seeing my childhood friends that I used to see whenever I'd come over as a kid, it's just the best feeling in the world. And because I take this time to reset, reflect, and recharge, I start every year with clarity and energy, and I'm so fired up and ready to execute everything I planned out with the team, because the vision becomes so clear, and all that's left is for the team and I to execute. So it's kind of a high ROI trip for me, actually. So yeah, Brazil isn't just where I chill with the family, it's where I reset and refuel, where I create the game plan for the future and define who I need to become to achieve everything. And also where I remember what actually matters amongst the mission I'm on for greatness, and that makes all the difference. That was my Diario Carioca.